So the first poem that I'm going to read is called Tall Cans on the Curb. There, in front of that house on Lanfranco, where the smell of musty wood pours out from the home, where birds chirp from electrical wires, where turkey in the straw radiates in the distance, not too far from where I sat with the neighbor's kid on a visit to my grandfather's, and we watched the 1960s Batman on a blurry, jury-rigged antenna wire television. My dad and his neighbor from that same house sat with their beer cans on the curb when they were teenagers. And when my dad finished his sobriety after years without and a diagnosis the opposite of remission, my dad and his friend bought tall cans from the corner store and drank on the curb there in front of their childhood homes. They offered up cheers to better times. I drank 40s with my friend on a driveway of my parents. Piles of cigarette butts and empty cans between us, and when the 5-0 rolled up with their flashing red and blue, I told my friend to chill out and remain seated. I was sitting there, cross-legged, cross-faded. The smell of skunk still lingered in the air when I told the officers, I live here. This is my property. Sometimes it seems like those were the best times. See, I am a deacon in the Brotherhood of Tall Cans. My friend, a card-carrying member of the Curb Drinkers Club, the 40s and 4 Loco high society of concrete and liquid courage. We aren't just known alcoholics. To anyone within earshot of our stories, we're infamous. Just because we gather mostly inside, mostly under the cover of night, why should we hide? We are the cheers, we are the toasts, we are the swirl, we are the suds of barley and rye, of stomach acid, ferment, and piss. The piss leaking down our legs, the piss pouring from our sweat, the smell of piss on our breath. Their upturned noses, who are they to judge us? We are the toilets, the porcelain gods, vomit-filled and unforgiving, the bathroom faucets, always thirsty. We are the bottles never quite filled, always empty. We are the insults, we are the violence, we are the pounding, we are the blood, and we are the lies we tell our blood. I was the water, glucose, and sodium repeatedly falling from my mother's eyes before I could finally stop. My father lies in his casket, after losing his battle to cancer. The mortician has sculpted his mouth so that he'll look happy forever. My sisters, my brother, and I gather into the rose-colored viewing room of the chapel. Looking at our father's wrinkled, placid, and powdered smile, we joke about tucking cans of beer into his coat for him to be buried with, like we did with our uncle. I get hammered the following weekend, then hammered by fists by a friend in front of friends in a campground in the desert, screaming, wailing, imagining myself in my father's casket. I imagine myself as him. I imagine myself buried with him. The morning after, I look into a mirror, both eyes swollen and blackened. I resemble a raccoon. A few days or months into sobriety, after my second DUI and losing my license, I walk along a curb in my city, and on my way home, I start singing. The words come to me suddenly. For years I drank to remember my father, but it won't bring him back. No, it won't bring him back. For years I drank to forget my problems, but he wouldn't have liked that. No, he wouldn't have liked that. I cry as I repeat it. Probably sounds corny if you haven't lived it. I shy my eyes from the oncoming traffic. As I sniffle, I smell the chlorine from a nearby apartment complex's pool and stop to watch birds flitting from the branches of eucalyptus trees lining Grand Avenue that smell of musk and mint.